Hi, everybody! Welcome back to yet another podcast with your bearded brothers. I'm less certain than ever that I'm Matt tonight.
I'm a breathing human being tonight.
I'm not even sure I'm doing that. I'm breathing. The human part is questionable at the moment.
No, I'm definitely human. If I wasn't human, then I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Well, you don't know that. What if you were an android?
Well, first off, now we're getting into sci-fi shit. Let's stick to reality first,
Okay,
please.
what if you were an alien that was pretending to be a human?
I mean, the odds of that would be so unlikely and so mythical, but so much better than my real life that'd be kind of amazing.
Oh, yay. Yay.
I mean, I have the life where if a demon came to try to possess me, he'd beg for me to take my life back.
Yeah, I've always told people, like, if I have my identity stolen, they can just keep it.
Pretty much, like, hey, can we swap? I'll just take yours.
I mean, you can't be worse off than me at the moment.
I don't know, bro. Probably mine's not great right now.
Neither's mine. Oh, okay. So, that all being said, lots of things to go over this week, or at least some things. We're also going to go over. I had an idea, two ideas. One that Chris hates because it's overdone. I agree that it's overdone, but I still think it's interesting, and I want to do it anyway. The other one is kind of a different idea, and I think we want to talk about that. We'll do the. I want to do the reverse of it next week. Which I think would also...
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be just as interesting. So, news stuff.
Yeah,
There's lots of news stuff. There's some news stuff. So, easy news stuff first in the NBA playoffs right now. They are down to the East and West Conference Finals. Out East, they have the Celtics and the Heat. The Heat, I think, were a 7 seed. And currently, they are up 2-0 on the Celtics. Out West, they have Denver and LA. The Lakers, not the Clippers.
Excuse you.
Thank you. The Lakers are also a 7 seed, but they are down by 2 games as Denver, or 3 games now, I think. 3 games. Denver has taken 3 games in a row on LA. No team has ever come back to win a series after being down 3-0. So, yeah, there you go on that. In hockey, we got the final score earlier today. So 2 teams are both 2-0 currently. And yeah, every game in each side has gone to overtime so far. Mm-hmm. Four total games played between the two sides. Between East and West, every game has gone to overtime. The first one to quadruple overtime. Mm-hmm. That's like another game and a quarter, because the final goal didn't come until the last 30 seconds of quadruple overtime. So currently, out East, the Panthers, whom Chris didn't have making it past the first round, and neither did I. But I said they were going to be a tough out, and they're 2 games up on the fucking Hurricanes at this point. Mm-hmm. So there's every chance they could make the Stanley Cup Finals. The Golden Knights out west, along with the Stars, are playing, and the Golden Knights hold a 2-0 lead over the Dallas Stars. Personally, I'm rooting for the Golden Knights and the Panthers, because then, no matter who wins, we're guaranteed to have a first-time ever Stanley Cup champion.
I mean, yeah.
And
at this point, I don't really care. I'm just now just watching for fun. My brackets are so fucked at this point.
Yeah, mine too. Chris and both my teams now are out. The team I had winning it all is out. My brackets are totally fucked. Chris and I actually have a friend, though, that is a Panthers fan. Hector. He's the only other guy in our friend group that actually that is a shared friend group, I should say, that watches or follows hockey in any way, shape, or form. And he is from Florida, and he is not a Lightning fan. He is a Panthers fan.
I would say that's sad, but at this moment, it's looking like an okay thing.
That's like an okay bet right now.
It's okay right now. Normally sad. Right now, it's okay.
Normally, that's kind of sad. I don't think. Did we go over the Smith trade last week, or did that happen after we recorded?
That happened after we recorded, because we already talked about that might happen, and then it did, and then it never did until literally, what was it, like a couple hours after our podcast was done?
I think so. That
it was literally the day of. I remember
that is
because you texted me and was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, that is our luck. So Zadarius Smith has been traded to the Cleveland Browns for a 2024 and a 2025 fifth.
I believe so.
Yeah, it's 2 fifths. It's next year and the year after. And that's all we got. I'm whelmed.
Meh.
Yeah. We saved cap space.
I mean, yeah, but
that we can
I
use
was
to
hoping
sign
for
JJ.
a better trade.
I was too, but
it just feels like a weak trade. But at the same time, like,
It's
better than cutting him and having him go somewhere, I guess.
Well, what I've been hearing, you're gonna laugh at this. So Daniel Hunter is apparently also potentially moving out.
I've heard that, though I'd be a little upset to have both our.
I would too.
Yeah,
I've also heard
that way.
the rumor around that I've been hearing now, they haven't been able to find a good trade for Cook.
Though I've heard that might be changing recently, but yeah.
I've also heard that the concept that they could cut him and then bring him back under a different contract at a lesser number isn't completely out of this universe.
No, but from my understanding, it just doesn't sound like Cook wants to cut either, though. So,
yeah, I totally understand.
From my understanding, that's I could be wrong on that, but I think that's like the big crux of the entire issue is that he didn't even want to rework the contract in the first place.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. So, but the concept, the Mensa has left the door open as that's something that they would look into, but
yeah.
I don't think that Cook wants to rework his contract. Yeah.
Basically, the only reason he'd come back is if Cook played the market after getting cut, found out that nobody else was going to pay him that much either, and then we just happened to be the continued highest bidder at that point. But the odds of that are, I would say, unlikely, to be honest.
I would say unlikely as well, but we'll see. There were rumors from down here that Jerry Jones said he wouldn't even entertain a Dalvin Cook trade. He has no interest in it whatsoever.
I mean, see, that's the exact thing Jerry Jones would say when he actually wants a player.
Yeah, that does feel like a Jerry thing.
It does.
Okay, so in news, you said you had something you wanted to launch off on.
Oh, yeah, let me pull it up. I mean, it's not like really big news, but it was just
something that irritated you. So I got to do it last week, so let's hear what you got this week.
It was an article, and it was it's a player that still plays, but he's a ex-Bills player from last year, so he's an ex-Bills wide receiver, Isaiah McKenzie. So
okay.
he's now with the Colts. So he got traded to the Colts, but he was with the Bills last year. So during that AFC game between the Bengals and the Bills, remember there was that snow that started coming down?
Mm-hmm.
So he blames one of the reasons why they lost on the snow, right? Which is just
it's Buffalo.
It's fucking annoying, first off, but they're like exactly. That was my first thought. Was you're in Buffalo, right? That's the dumbest thing ever.
That's your home field advantage.
Like he literally says, if we were in a dome, it would have been a totally different game. First off, I don't think the game would have been that different. The game would have been played differently, but I think the outcome might have been the same. To be completely honest with you, at the time. let me see here. Then he goes on to do. He says the snow had a lot to do with it. Let's be real, our run game wasn't the best run game. We didn't have a run game, so the snow was a big deal because we passed the ball. First off, right there, you've already pointed out one of the biggest problems of why you were going to lose that game. It wasn't the snow. You had no run game. Don't blame the fucking snow, bro.
Your run game last year was Josh Allen. He was actually, I looked it up. He was 75 yards shy of their leading rusher last year.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. It goes on. It continues, and it just continues to bother me, right?
Oh Lord.
Then it says Joe
himself.
Let's just go. Well, this one's not even from him. This is the person who wrote the article, which just annoys me even more. It says Joe Burrow is familiar with playing outdoors in the cold, wind, and even snow. Well, yeah, so is Josh Allen. Like,
he played at Wyoming.
Why are you pointing out that Joe Burrow's familiar with it as if, like, oh, yeah, he managed to throw for 242 yards and 2 touchdowns that day because he's used to playing in the snow? Josh Allen should also be used to doing that, guys. I don't know why you're pointing that out as if that's some crazy thing. Anyways, like I said, that was from the article Reddit that bothered me, so it was just another thing that was just like, are you serious? Come on, dude. You're being loud. Not gonna... McKenzie argued the snow prevented his team from throwing the ball and forced it to simplify its offensive attacks. He goes on to say that Bengals ran basic routes. Maybe we should have done that and ran basic routes, like out routes and go balls, instead of running routes that you have to be going lateral or coming back to the football or turning, whatever. The point is, basically what you've also told me is it wasn't the snow, it was you literally didn't adapt. You didn't adapt.
Your coaching staff failed to adapt properly.
Like, you basically just told me the Bengals adapted and you didn't. Like, get out of here. But, like, I don't... Again, you keep going for the snow, but you keep pointing out the faults for your team as to why you really actually lost, but then you keep going back to the snow. I don't understand this.
You're trying to blame... At this point, it feels like he's trying to blame anything other than what... He doesn't want to throw the... It sounds like he doesn't want to throw the GM and the coaching staff under the bus.
Right.
But that's who needs to be thrown under the bus.
So, let's continue, because it still goes.
Oh, dear God.
He says, everybody says, oh, the Bengals caught the ball. They ran. Joe Burrow threw the ball just fine. The receivers caught the ball just fine. But Joe Burrow and Josh are 2 different types of guys. At least he's right on that. And he says, Josh has a cannon, and that's how he throws a football. Josh has touch every now and then, but he wants to sling the football, and that was kind of tough for him getting the balls in the right spots, receivers getting open because of the routes we ran. So again, you've just pointed out another problem is that, okay, so you're saying all this stuff about the Bengals and how they did all the things to adapt, which is good and correct because they did do all those things. Don't downplay it like they didn't, you asshole. And second... saying that the only reason is because Josh Allen only has a cannon of an arm, that's a failure of him then. Because as a good elite QB, he should be able to throw a touch football.
But I get that because there are some quarterbacks whose whole thing is all they want to do is throw the ball as hard as they can.
Yes, but if you're going to win Super Bowls and you're going to play in outdoor situations, you need to learn how to do that. And as a team that plays in an outdoor stadium, like, don't blame Joe Burrow for that. That's Josh Allen's problem. Like, that's the problem of your coaching staff.
Okay.
That isn't, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it just, when I kept going on, I'm just like, how are you... Stop blaming the weather and instead realize the faults of the team. Like, understand, like, I understand you don't want to just throw anyone under the bus, but at the same time, be honest. Don't be a liar. Like, now you're just straight up lying and trying to point out, like, the only reason you lost was the weather and trying to make it, like, all feel-goody. That's not how it works.
So, this actually
You failed as a team. It's sad. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it works.
Yeah,
sorry.
But this dovetails, you're fine. This dovetails into something else that I wanted to bring up. So, we as fans often wonder why there aren't personalities, or we don't have major personalities in a lot of sports. Why people don't talk to the media, why people are very bland when they do, etc. Well,
This is part of the problem too, yeah.
hold on. There's a reason why.
No, I know.
Part of it is this, but so recently, after they got pushed out of the Eastern Conference Finals, or Eastern Conference, they lost to the semifinals with the 76ers. There was a quote floating around from Joel Embiid, the league MVP, who said, James and I can't do it all. There's a reason the game is played 5-on-5. And something about needing to be, people need to work on their game. What it sounds like is, James and I don't need to work, all you other scrubs do.
To me, it more sounded like, hey, we're putting in a lot of work, and it doesn't feel like other people are putting in enough work.
The funny thing is...
That's the way I read that.
But the funny thing is, even before that, he said that it's taken out of context. The actual quote from Embiid was that he and Harden had to work on their games too.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
The sports writer clipped that part and only played the second part. So if you wonder why people are very measured when they talk to the media, and you wonder why your guys don't seem to have much of a personality, crap like that is why. Also, for those of you who don't know, the Toronto Maple Leafs are in need of a new general manager, as the team has decided to part ways with their former general manager, Kyle Dubas. I personally think that leaves the coach. I think his chances of survival are about a snowball's in hell.
Fair.
I think he's going to be gone. I think it sounded like up to a point that they had an extension ready for him, because this was his last season under the contract that he had signed. But it sounded like they had an extension ready for him. And even after they beat after they beat Tampa and moved into the second round, even though they got whooped out in the second round, they apparently had a contract ready for him already. And then after the exit, he said a couple of weird things, and then he said, I have just recently learned how difficult the season is on my family as well. And he was saying he would have to talk to his wife and everything before the extension. And apparently some of the things he said, because he did not give the scripted typical answers that they were looking for, so people are saying that that's probably what caused them to go, oh, you think it's too tough? Okay, bye. It does sound like they did part ways with him. I think they needed to, sadly. Like, I like Dubas, but he does...
No, but that's just a dumb reason, though. But because I can understand what he's saying. Like, traveling all the time and being away from your family is hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, and he's very young, too. But, so Dubas... He put together a great team, but if he had a flaw, it's that he had a blind eye for his people. Sheldon Keefe was his coach. He kept bringing in guys from the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds that he had worked with when he was there. And there were certain players who it was obvious you should trade off that he just continued to hang on to. And it bit him. So the problem with the team was that they have gotten a little slower and a little older, and they aren't quite as quick at getting, at the forecheck. And they got skated out of the building in the first 3 games against the Panthers. If you watch those games, they got skated out of the building. And that's literally what caused them to destruct. It's been time for a little while for Tavares to admit he needs to move to the wing. and for them to bring in a younger center who could keep up with people in that spot. They needed to get younger on defense. They needed to make some other moves. There are some other pieces that should have gone out that didn't. There's some other pieces that you could have done something with. And Keefe has been thoroughly outcoached several times in the playoffs, and you've needed to find a coach that can bring some sort of toughness to that team, some sort of different viewpoint on how to play the game, and they haven't found it. So there are currently two people. There's a whole bunch of people that they could hire. Because it looks like Shanahan is going to stick around as team president, so he's going to find the next GM. I think it's going to happen quick, because you got to start working on a Matthews extension. You got to figure out what you're doing with the core four. Are you letting people go? You've got to get your free agency, your RFA tenders. You've got to get ready for the draft that's coming up. They've only got so much time, so they need to get somebody onboarded as quick as possible. So there's a guy in-house. I don't remember his name, but there's a guy in-house. And then the Brad Treliving, the Flames GM, he stepped down several weeks ago. And he's been reported to be in the mix for the Toronto job. Would not surprise me if it was him. So those are the big names that are in the discussion pool right now. I would think Keefe is going to be gone. I would think at least one part of their core four is going to be gone. I don't know who, but I'd say there's at least one part of it that isn't coming back. Because what you have isn't working. It works in the regular season. You put up great numbers, but then you get to the playoffs and it isn't working anymore. So now you need to find something new. You need to get younger. And it's funny because another podcast I watched, the SDPN guys, brought up Washington. And about the only guys who were always there, who got older, were Ovechkin and Backstrom. Almost everybody else was just these young guys they kept cycling through until they found the right group to get them to a cup. Which is essentially what happened. Mm-hmm. They just kept cycling through. All right, get rid of all these people. We got these two guys. We're going to just build around them again. Mm-hmm. And eventually it worked. So, you got to figure out what they're going to do. But yeah, that was major news, is the fact that that he's out, that Dubas is out, and Sheldon Keefe will probably be out too. Doc Rivers is no longer the coach of the 76ers. They canned him after the end of the season. Can't think of much else news-wise, though. Hasn't really been a whole lot. So, we're going to do something now. I found online a list where somebody took an AI and had them predict every team's win and loss record. And Chris hasn't seen this list. He doesn't know who's on it. Well, he obviously knows who's on it, but he doesn't know where they're at. So we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. And we're going to react to the records and see if we think that whoever programmed this AI knows what the fuck they're doing. Or we're going to tell them that they're fucking insane. And that they need to go back to programming school.
Yeah, to be fair, the AI is only a learning thing, so it's just trying to take as many opinions as possible. So
opinions, stats, things of that nature.
You can fuck with AI, so it's not necessarily if the programming's bad. It could be people just feeding it bad information too. So
it depends what information it got fed too. Yes.
Yeah.
So starting at the bottom, the AI thinks that the worst team in the league will be the Arizona Cardinals, and it predicts their record to be 4-13.
To be fair, that sounds pretty on point because that's what a lot of pundits say. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's what a lot of people have been.
I think 4-13 might be optimistic, but
well, just in general, of being at the bottom though is
yes.
If they're going to win games, it might be 3 to 4 games. And
yeah,
it's pretty common to have teams. It's not that common to have teams actually go 0 wins, 1 wins. Like typically, most teams, even at the bottom,
3 and
typically
4
win at
wins
least
is
3
what
or
you
4.
get. I think the Bears had, what, 3 this year?
I
Last
think
year?
they actually had 4. I think they actually had 4.
I thought it was 3, and that's why they wound up. It was.
I thought it was 4 and a tie, or was it 3 and a tie?
Might have been 3 and a tie.
I don't remember. Maybe
I
I'm
don't
going
remember.
crazy. Either way.
Point is, they had the first overall pick, and Texans had the second.
Yep.
All right. Then after them, the next team up, they have the Washington Commanders, 5 and 12. I think that's a little low.
That's a little harsh, but at the same time, I can understand because we don't really know what they got at QB yet. So
Yeah, we don't really know how Howell's going to work out, and I don't
Yeah.
know that they're sold on Brissett.
exactly. So I can understand why you would have a hard time giving a proper number to that. I still think that's a little low, but I can understand it.
At number 30, they have the Indianapolis Colts, 6 and 11.
Again, and so it's just another thing of it's a big question mark on QB. If Richardson turns out to be the messiah of the next QB, like then they could end up going to playoffs even. Like you just never know.
Yeah, and that totally could be. But does he start, or are they going to start Gardner Minshew?
It would be smart to start Minshew, but I have a feeling that they're not going to do that. But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with you.
If they start Minshew, then yes, that record actually would make sense because that's probably what I would expect Minshew to win in overall games, probably. If
Well, they do have to host games against the Browns, Steelers, Saints, Raiders, and Rams. They also have road trips to New England, Cincinnati, and Baltimore.
Exactly. Like they have a very hard, but if they were going to win games, I could understand Minshew winning some of those games because he's not a bad QB. So.
No, I don't think he is at all.
So I can see that.
Right after them, New England Patriots, 6 and 11.
Yeah, if the Mac Jones can't get back to that rookie form he had the previous year, then I would agree that they're probably sitting a little low. But if he can have a good rookie season, if he can look like he did in the rookie season, then he might be okay. But
they might be okay. You might get 9 wins out of him.
Yeah.
The Texans, 6 and 11.
That's low, actually. I think I disagree. I guess I just have a lot more faith in CJ Stroud. I think floor is maybe ceiling, but I think they're probably gonna be sitting at more like a 7 or 8.
I agree. I also think that they're underestimating the wide receiver Tank, and then how much that defense is probably going to be revamped.
Oh yeah.
They also have the Tennessee Titans, 6 and 11.
No, I agree with that actually. In fact,
I'd actually say that's
fair. Actually, I would say that might be actually a little high. Like to be honest, it might be a little high.
No, I think he can run them to 6 wins.
You think so?
Yeah.
It depends if he gets injured. Because if he gets injured, he can't.
Oh yeah. Well, if he gets injured, he can't. Obviously. but honestly, I think he could run them to 6 wins, provided that they don't get injured, or he doesn't get injured. But
I can see that.
outside of that, yeah, they're toast. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 6 and 11.
A lot of question marks. How does Baker hold up? Baker is just good enough that I think that's the floor. Like, I think Baker is a good enough QB that you could expect him to even potentially get up to 9 wins.
Now, they do have road games against the Eagles, the Niners, the Vikings, and the Bills.
Yeah, I was going to say their schedule is not easy, though. So that's why I'm saying I think 6 is probably the floor, but they could earn more than that.
Chicago Bears, 6 and 11. I think that's a little high.
About right. That's
I
probably
think 6
close,
is a little high, but
I don't think by much though. Like if we're talking maybe a 1-game difference in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, they were 3 and 14 last year.
So yeah, double their wins. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. The Green Bay Packers, 6 and 11.
That might be a little high, my guys.
It depends on what Jordan Love can do, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks.
There really is. The jury is out on Jordan Love at this point. The Atlanta Falcons, 7-10.
Yeah, I mean, they got a good double back system right now.
And I was going to say, by the way, in training camp, they had Robinson lining up and taking snaps at wide receiver.
Yeah. They're gonna use him like a Cordell Patterson from the sound of it, where they're gonna move him around a lot.
Yeah, and
Which
I would.
makes sense.
So you would
he's
see
an athlete where you could see him doing that.
I would see them having Algiers and Robinson on the field at the same time.
Can you imagine? They could probably slot in Patterson at the same time. There's probably a way they could have all three at the field, and then you have no idea what's going to happen.
Then you have no idea who's going to get what.
No,
and you have Drake London too.
Exactly. Oof.
See, so that could be very dangerous if they can balance it and make it work.
And to be fair, if Desmond Ridder isn't the best QB, having that many options for him is probably good.
I agree.
So I could see how if the playbook works out and the coaching is proper, then yeah, they could easily get 7, probably more wins even.
Las Vegas Raiders, 7-10.
Yeah, I don't have that much faith in Jimmy G, so that sounds about right.
I think it might be a little less, but we're only talking 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, it's real close.
Yeah. Los Angeles Rams, 7-10.
I'm actually going to say that's low.
I am too. I actually think the Rams are going to rebound a little bit.
I think they're going to have a slight rebound because people keep forgetting Stafford is really good. You still have Cooper Kupp. I mean, you still have a good defensive. You still have Aaron Donald.
I mean, they do have road games against the Bengals, Ravens, Cowboys, and Giants.
They still have a good team. Like, the reason why they were so bad last year was just simply to the fact that Stafford got injured early on. Granted, people are like, oh, yeah, but he looked bad in the early games. Yeah, I get that. He didn't look the best in the early games. I promise you that's not normal for... I was going to say, that's not normal for Stafford. Like, he would have rebounded pretty easily, and I think he will. I don't think that they're...
I agree. Yeah. I agree. The Pittsburgh Steelers, 8-9.
I actually think that it might be a little low, but by only like a game or two.
Yeah, I
actually think
I think that's within a game or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the AFC North is a very tough division, though. So
it is, but they're a really tough team.
New York Giants, 8-9.
Yeah. No, I'll give that. That's pretty close.
And a lot of that depends on Danny Dimes.
Yeah, but he's good. He's just good enough to typically get you that 8-9 games a season. So,
Carolina Panthers, 8-9.
I would say maybe a little higher. I would probably give them the 9-8 instead. But yeah, it's probably right around there. I think that's probably what they're going to end up achieving, unless of course everybody just clicks right off the bat and then.
I don't think that's going to happen though.
I don't either, but.
Seattle Seahawks, 8-9.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Can they replicate last year? Is basically what it is. This is a prove it year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens, 9-8.
If Lamar stays healthy, that's low. If Lamar gets injured, that's right.
I mean, at this point, that's more or less accurate. Minnesota Vikings, 9-8. I have to agree with that because that's where I had them.
Yeah, and I had them 1 up on a 10.
2 up.
So yeah, 2 up. Sorry,
2 up. 2 up. You had them at 11 wins.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not that far off.
Cleveland Browns, 9-8.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would expect from them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right around where I think they should be. Denver Broncos, 9-8.
You know, some people might say that's high, but if it is, it's only by marginal because I think that they are going to have some rebound, but there's still a lot of question marks. I have to wait until after the first game to really know for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. Los Angeles Chargers, 9-8.
I think that's personally low. I think they're gonna at least get 10 or more wins.
And they're still not going to get out of the first round of the playoffs.
Probably not, but they'll make playoffs.
Maybe.
No, they will.
Miami Dolphins, 10-7.
As long as Tua cannot get concussed, I would agree with that.
I can say that. I can agree with that. Jacksonville Jaguars, 10-7.
Yeah, yeah, I could see them even winning more than that, but yeah,
I could see them winning maybe one or two more,
yeah,
like 12 games maybe.
no, they're a good enough team now.
Yeah,
That's what I would expect, anyways. We'll see.
yeah. Dallas Cowboys, 10-7.
That's high. I'm sorry. I think that's kind of high.
I think it might.
I think that's like 2 games minimum high in my opinion. I'm thinking like 8 is more like what I would expect.
8 or
them.
9 is where I'm gonna put them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they do get to face the Commanders twice.
Yeah, but the Commanders are again a question mark. If Sam Howell turns out to be actually a pretty decent quarterback, remember they were winning good games with Heineke, so he
True.
just has to be just as good.
New York Jets, 10-7.
You know what? I'm going to make an argument that might actually be low.
I'm gonna say
The
that
team is
that might actually be
pretty
really
stacked.
low because that team is not only stacked
team's
offensively. I mean, Aaron Rodgers supercharges that offense, and that defense was already amazing.
Yeah. I think we might be seeing like more like 13-14 wins almost.
Yep, I agree. Detroit Lions, 10-7.
Yeah.
I'd
I
say
can see
that's
them winning
within
maybe
one or
a
two.
game or two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
game or two.
Yeah.
49ers, 10-7.
I actually think that might be a little low too.
Might be, but it's going to depend on the
There's a
quarterback.
question mark on the quarterback. Yeah. Yeah. For now, we'll say that's probably a pretty fair guess based upon since we don't know the quarterback.
This is the one I don't agree with. I think this is way too high. New Orleans Saints, 11-6.
Like, Derek Carr is good, but first year Saints.
Also,
They
we
have
don't
good
know
pieces. I would
don't know
probably
about
say
Kamara
more like-
and what's going on with him. Is Thomas back?
I would be more inclined to say put it around the 8 or 9 personally, but
Yeah, that's what I think too. But I got them in. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, Philadelphia Eagles, 11-6. I think that's a little low.
actually, that's kind of low actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's low personally.
Yeah.
I think they're more like 14.
Probably.
Bills, 12-5.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about what they were last year. I think they were 13-3 last year.
Yeah, that's fair.
12-5 sounds about right. Bengals, 12-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Chiefs, 13-4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where that ends.
Oh, all right. Fair enough.
So, top 3 teams were still...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly what you would think they'd be. Or
The
pretty
Bills,
close.
the Bengals, and the Chiefs. And then you look at the 4th team, and it was the Eagles.
Yeah, and then you had the Bengals.
Yeah, I said the Bills, the Bengals, and the Chiefs.
Oh, sorry. I misheard that part now.
And then the 4th team would be the Eagles. And then right under them, you had the...
What's up? Yeah.
See, right under them is where you wound up with the 11-6 Saints, and I was like, no,
Saints, which like makes no sense. So
you're no. See, that's the one that was really.
that's where that would probably be more like the Jets would probably be in that spot.
Yeah, that's what I feel like.
Oh.
At any rate, anyway.
Okay.
So one of the other things that Chris and I did, and I think I heard this from Rich Eisen. Typically, between both AFC and NFC, every season there are 5 teams that didn't make the playoffs the previous season that wind up making it the next season. So what Chris and I did is I had him take 5 teams that we think have a chance to make the playoffs this year that did not make the playoffs last year. And when I was talking about reversing it, I think next week we'll take 5 teams that made the playoffs last year and say that they have a chance to miss out on it this coming season. So I think we'll start at 5 and go up. 5 being the team that we are the least confident of making the playoffs. 1 being the team we are the most confident in having a playoff run this year. Does that help? Did you not do that?
Hold on. I'm trying to look at something. Hold on. 1 second. Sorry. I had to look something up real quick.
Okay.
I had to hold. I had to reorganize because I did not organize mine.
That when I said that, I figured that's exactly what happened. You just threw 5 teams out there.
I did. Hold on. I actually didn't even have them written down. I just had them in my head. So now I'm like, well, I have to go look at the teams and go, oh god, hold on. I gotta organize this real quick. Give me a second. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that's what we were playing today. Okay.
We're so well organized.
We are very well organized. So least confident in. Okay.
This is the king of podcasts right here.
This is awful. Why do you do this to me?
Oh, because I love you.
How dare you?
Yeah, 5 is the team you're least confident in. 1 is the team you're most confident in. We'll go 5-1. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. When you're ready, let me know. And if I have to do some editing, creative editing, I will do some creative editing. Or I can monologue.
I'm already got my first 2 down, so
I can monologue. It's okay. I can tell horrible jokes. I can tell horrible jokes. I have dad jokes.
I mean, that's true. You do.
I really do. I had to live with my father for a while. Speaking of which, they're going to be in town.
Oh, have fun with that.
Oh, I am beyond thrilled.
I'm sure you are just the happiest person around.
Nah, it'll be fine. I'm actually looking to taking them to we have a gourmet egg roll place down here called the Roll Up that is flippin' amazing. Fair
enough.
Oh, dude, they do crab ragoon egg rolls.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Oh, it's fucking great because you could dip them in yum yum sauce.
Oh, I love yum yum sauce, dude.
They also do spicy yum yum sauce.
I also love spicy yum yum sauce. I love yum yum sauce. So
they do pepperoni pizza egg rolls.
Ooh, that sounds kind of good.
They do Philly cheesesteak egg rolls.
Nice. By the way, I'm ready whenever.
Okay, and they do they use the lumpia wrap.
Oh yeah, okay.
The thicker, better wrapping.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So back on topic. We'll stop talking about food and making ourselves hungry.
Hi, I'm kind of getting hungry again. How dare you?
So you want to start?
I mean, you can start. I can start. I mean, I didn't.
I'll start.
I'll be fair. I didn't even mine out between AFC and NFC.
I didn't either. I just threw 5 teams. Okay. So there is no even on mine. So my 5th team, the team that I am the least confident in making the playoffs that did not make it last year, is the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, okay.
They have some new faces. They have maybe a franchise QB. They have a couple of decent wide receivers. They have a new running back that could be good. They have a pretty solid running back room. They have a brand new coach. And their division is straight garbage. The NFC South is hot garbage this year.
That's fair.
So they have a shot at it. I don't know that they'll make it, and I am not confident they'll do it, but they could.
You know what's funny? My pick here is not the same as yours, but all of your same reasonings can apply to this team. And I put the Atlanta Falcons at my number 5. Literally every single reason applies perfectly to the Falcons.
They play in the same division even.
They have a shit division. They have a great running back room with a questionable franchise QB.
The only thing they don't have is a new head coach.
Exactly. That's the only thing. That's only like he started last year, didn't he? So it's like
Last year or the year before, I believe. Yes.
Yeah. So he's still pretty new. Regardless, that's still pretty fun.
All right. So my number 4 team, the Denver Broncos.
Okay. I figured you'd go there at some point.
New coach, new game plan. Old Russ? Look, if he finds the form, or at least even part of it, that he used to have before last season, they could go deep. They could go far. That team is built really well. If he looks again like he did last season and is a pile of hot garbage, I don't know what you're going to do. You gave him a lot of money.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's not like you have a lot of options.
Yep.
All right, well, my number 4 is also not your pick. My number 4 is actually going to be the Rams. I think people are sorely misunderestimating them because they had such a dismal season. But I think a lot of people don't realize they dealt with a lot of injuries.
I will say that I thought about that, and then I remembered how much of their defense they've lost.
They have lost quite a bit of their defense, but I think that they are the type of team that can still out-offense a lot of teams, and that's what's going to allow them to just squeak in, I think.
Okay.
I'm not super confident in it, but I still feel like they have a pretty good chance to still squeak in.
Number 3, the New Orleans Saints.
I hate you.
I am moderately confident in them.
Gross.
I hate it. I hate it. But
yeah,
new stuff, new quarterback. They added on defense. If Thomas and Olave are back, that gives Carr some pretty good weapons to throw to. They added in another running back just in case Kamara's out.
Mm-hmm.
You've got all sorts of weird stuff, and then add on top of it that the NFC South, kind of a weak division. As we've mentioned, It's kind of a garbage division. Somebody's got to win that garbage division.
Someone's got to win it, yeah.
And go to the playoffs. Now, I think the Saints actually have the best chance because I think they have the most well-rounded team to win the South. Is it going to be fantastic? No. Are they going to get is it going to be they're going to win it with 9-8? Probably. They're probably going to do 9-8 or 8-9 like Tampa did last year, just squeak in. And win only because they win the division and the division is trash. And they're going to be out in the first round. I hate to say it I don't hate to say it like that because I hate the Saints, but I do say that at 3, they do make sense. I do have a moderate amount of thinking that, they did enough that they should potentially win that division, provided Derek Carr is any good at all, and if Thomas comes back, you've got enough weapons for him to use. We'll see.
Fair enough. All right. Again, still my number 3 is different. I'm surprised we have not been.
This is cool though.
Normally we're kind of on the same page, but we're completely. We have similar ideas. All of your teams, I did think about it, but I didn't.
And I've thought about most of yours too.
But my number 3 is actually going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Thought about them too.
They honestly, you got Pickett to Pickens, which is just amazing. They got a good run game. They have a fantastic coach, and they play trench football. They play hard, dirty football, and it makes them hard to play against. And it allows them to ground out wins. And more often than not, especially over the last decade, the Steelers just tend to find a way to make playoffs. And honestly, they almost made it last year. I don't see a reason why they can't this year.
The only reason I didn't pick the Steelers is because they play in the same division as both the Ravens and the Bengals.
I'm well aware they're not going to win because of playing well in their division. It's going to have to come through a wild card, but I'm pretty confident they'll take one.
They could, yes, and I am all about that. So my number 2 team, the Detroit Lions. Look, they came very close to making it last year. If LA beats Seattle last year at the end of the season, they're in the playoffs. And they should actually win the North this year and make the playoffs for the first time in a long time. I honestly believe they have the best team in the North. They did quite a bit at the draft. They got quite a bit of good things. I know you're not as high on Gibbs as I am. But I think they're going to do, because I could see him being used similar to how Cordell Patterson or Bijan Robinson is going to be used down in Atlanta. Move him around, line him up.
I don't know if he's got the hands for it, but we'll see.
We'll see. I would hope so. If he does, that's great. Anyway, so
Fair.
my feeling on that is that they're probably going to make it this year. I have pretty good feeling about them.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Number 2 for me is actually going to be the Jets. And the only reason they're at number 2 and not number 1 for me is simply I just don't know 100% how Aaron Rodgers is going to connect with the coaching staff and the wide receivers the first year. Sometimes there's a pain process there, and sometimes there's not. We just don't know how it's going to go 100%, but I have a pretty good feeling it's going to go very well. But I still think there's another team that I think has a even better chance than the Jets, in my opinion.
And my number 1 team is the Jets, because they, again, almost made it last year, and now they've got a true number 1 QB. And the reason why I think that he'll connect quite well is because, if my memory serves, they went out and got Hackett as their offensive coordinator, or is somebody that they're consulting with, or something. He's part of the coaching staff.
Yeah, I think he's their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think he is their offensive coordinator for the Jets now. And that's somebody that Rodgers is very familiar and very comfortable with. So I think that this is going to go quite well for them.
It should, understandably. Like I said, it should. But there is a couple. Like I said, there's just enough question marks where it's not a done deal for me. Just want to make sure.
Okay.
In comparison, my number 1 team is the Detroit Lions, who I actually have more faith in, just simply due to the fact that they are a roster that was ready to play and ready to win last season, barely didn't make it. Now they just have more experience. They have even more players. They're even more ready to go. I just don't see how they don't make playoffs at this point. They would have to basically face plant at this point.
So it's funny to me because we flip-flopped our 1s and 2s and then everything else was different.
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh, that's hilarious to me, though. Like, we were so off, and then our 1 and 2s were like, oh yeah, these teams are definitely going to make it.
Yes, these 2 are definitely going to make it. The other 3 are like, yeah.
That's kind of what I did, is like, okay, I could pick this team, because I also thought about the Raiders, potentially, but I don't have enough hope. I don't have enough faith in McDaniels and Jimmy G. And none of the other, like the Texans, but they're not ready yet.
They're ready yet. I did that with the Panthers. That's why I didn't put the Panthers in mine.
I put the Panthers in there because somebody has to win that division.
They do, but I just don't think he's ready to do that yet. But that's just me.
We'll see. Somebody's going to win that division. I'm going to watch that and just go, ugh.
Yeah, whoever wins it, you're just going to be like, okay, they won, but at what cost?
It's a stinky division this year.
It was last year, so I mean, it makes sense. It's improved. It's an improved division.
We hope.
Well, I mean, technically on paper, it's improved.
Lots of things look good on paper, and then you get to them in practice, and they start sucking.
That's true, but let's just cross our fingers for now. We don't want that. We also don't want the Broncos to suck again, because that would make that division really boring too. So
yeah, that's true. Because the what are they in the AFC West?
Yeah, they're in the same division with the Chiefs, the Raiders. So it's Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, and who's
Chargers.
that last one? Chargers. Yeah.
I mean, we know the Chiefs are going to win that division. It's just I mean,
probably.
Unless injuries decimate them, which it's always possible.
I mean, you never know. The Chargers could come out swinging, or probably not. But you never know.
The reason that I don't trust that is because I don't think Brandon Staley is that good. Now, I will point out...
I don't know why they keep trusting in him. I just don't get it.
I will point out the Chiefs did lose their offensive coordinator.
That's true.
To the Commanders.
To the Commanders, yeah.
So,
which was weird, to be fair.
That's very weird.
I didn't expect that move when it happened, but it did.
Well, I expected to be a head coach.
Yeah. It's did. I mean, to be fair, he's basically, from my understanding, tapped to be the next head coach, because Ron Rivera's probably not sticking around very long, but...
I don't even know if he'll make it through the season. if you want the
Yeah.
honest answer.
Yeah, it sounds like he's
They've
probably
got because they've got new ownership coming in. If he makes it through the season, he's probably gone at the end of the season.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like new ownership's. This is basically Bieniemy's, basically the new ownership's coach, basically.
Yep, that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. That sounds like that's probably the deal that happened. That's why
agree.
That's probably why he signed on to go over right now.
I agree. And it's probably because that way he gets a chance to meet and learn all the players and whatever offensive system he implements, people get a chance to know. He also gets a chance to learn whether or not he wants to keep any of the other coordinators on, defense or anything like that, or if he's just going to want to clean house and start over.
And then he also gets to check out in his, in his team, and also figure out what players he does like and doesn't like.
Exactly. So I think it's a smart move, and I would be all in favor of it happening more frequently.
It's an interesting move, but it's one that I don't think you'll see that often. Just because
You won't, but I like it.
Like, a head coach is never going to bring in a guy that they know is going to replace him intentionally. Like,
Well, no, but if the head coach doesn't have a say in the matter.
yeah, but typically the head coaches are the one that actually hire their coordinators.
To an extent, yes. But sometimes
So-
GMs or team owners have some...
They do have some say, but typically a coach will just walk away from that. Like, quite often, that's why you'll see, like, Sean Payton and stuff when he went to the Broncos. He went, hey, I'm bringing my guys here. I'm bringing my guys. Like, you'll see that a lot. A lot of head coaches bring their own guys, and that's just kind of accepted.
people they're comfortable working with.
Yeah.
But I think at
that's
this
why I'm
point,
saying it's
Rivera
pretty
realizes... I think Rivera wants out anyway. He's starting to get a little older.
I think
He's
that's
starting to
what
get
it is.
tired. And I think
looking for a guy to replace him.
I think he's also hand-selected the guy that he thinks should replace him as well.
Yeah. I think Rivera was fine with it because Rivera knew that he was done anyways. Rivera, remember, he had the fact that he even went through, even after going through, what was that, cancer? What was it? He had some...
Cancer or something, yeah.
Was it some type of cancer? I forget which one it was, but like, the fact that he even survived that and still kept coaching when people thought he was just going to leave after he got the cancer diagnosis, like... Man, that guy's a lover of football. I get it, but like that cancer did a number on his body, and it's very clear,
for anybody who doesn't know and anybody who doesn't follow them, Hank Green from the Vlog Brothers, who they've been part of YouTube since YouTube.
They've been around for a long time.
Yeah, Hank and John Green. And John Green's had a ton of movies made now from his books, and Hank's written a book. Hank recently announced that he has Hodgkin's lymphoma. And he is going... They caught it... They think they caught it fairly early. They don't think it's spread very far. But if it has, that's typical because Hodgkin's lymphoma is a cancer in the blood. So it does tend to go everywhere. So it is the most treatable kind of cancer. And he has a friend who has been through it and survived. So for those of you that are religious and for those of you that pray, offer your prayers to Hank. If you don't watch the Vlog Brothers, you really should. They're pretty interesting. I understand if some people don't watch them because they do have fairly liberal views, but at the same time, they are fairly interesting.
I like their content. I would like their content when I was younger, but they've gotten more liberal as they've gotten more older. So
I do like,
or
some
at least their content feels that way anymore. But
yeah, but I do like, I always, when I deliver food, I always leave them with DFTBA. I say that on my little text when I drop off food.
Gotcha.
Which is, for those of you that don't know, that's don't forget to be awesome. Which I think can resonate with just about anyone. They sponsor the Wimbledon Football Club, the soccer club in Wimbledon. They have Pizzamas, which is a non-religious holiday, which I highly approve of because it's about eating pizza. And they've done a world of good for a lot of different people. They now have their own coffee brand, apparently.
A lot of people do now, though.
Yeah, that's not that unusual. Maybe we'll have bearded coffee someday.
I don't know if anyone would want that.
I don't know if anybody would either, but I don't give a shit. If somebody's willing to sponsor us and put our faces on fucking coffee bags, then I'll take it.
I doubt that's gonna happen, but
I doubt it too. But you know what? I don't give a shit. We're gonna keep making content.
I don't like
we're
coffee.
Gonna keep having fun.
I
actually
like
don't mind coffee. I prefer tea, but I don't mind coffee.
I don't really like tea much either.
I do.
I don't like most hot beverages, to be fair.
Well, see, I like my tea a little colder. I like I'm not saying sweet tea.
See, I don't mind sweet tea, but that's not the same thing, obviously.
No, it's not.
I knew what you meant.
I prefer like iced chai, like a chai tea that's been iced.
Okay, I don't mind. I don't mind that. Yeah, I've done like a Vietnamese Thai. It was a yeah, it was chilled. It was a chilled Thai.
Mm-hmm.
It was a green. It was a chilled green tea
Mm-hmm.
that was specifically Vietnamese, and it was really good. It tasted like grapes. I don't know why, but it tasted like grapes.
One of my favorite ones that I like to do is a chilled green tea that's half green tea, half lemonade. So it's like an Arnold Palmer, but with green tea instead of black.
I don't typically like green tea, but I sometimes do. It's weird. It depends on the green tea.
The thing that I've gotten into is a spiced vanilla chai that's iced with sweet cream vanilla foam on the top of it. It's really good. My wife works at Starbucks, so I can get them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't do Starbucks.
I understand.
I just don't like most coffee. I try to stay away from it. And plus, it's all sugary shit
See,
anyways.
I used to hate coffee when I was younger, even in your age. I hated coffee. I hated walking down the aisle and smelling coffee.
I don't mind the smell of coffee, actually. I just hate the taste of it. It's too bitter.
I have gotten, as I've gotten older, I have found coffees that I can drink.
Yeah, I've tried. Even the like super sweet stuff, and like it's like, oh yeah, it starts out tasting good, and then you get that bitter aftertaste. I'm like, nah, still don't like it.
You have to make it right. You have to do the right things. You have to pair it with the right foods.
I mean, as in like I went to like Starbucks and I just ordered like stuff. Like I've done it several times. I've gone in on recommendations on stuff for people, and that just nothing's ever really worked for me yet. So
my wife normally does flat whites.
Gotcha. Yeah,
So.
I can do teas. I can do plenty of cold teas. I can do mostly colder teas. I can do hot teas. I prefer colder teas.
I like specific hot teas. Like there's they sell it's more seasonal, but they have a cinnamon apple spice tea that I think is really, really good. They also have like a vanilla spice tea that's good, and a pumpkin tea, surprisingly, that is pretty good. I don't go in for PSLs though. Fuck pumpkin spice latte.
I'm sorry, I like pumpkin spice stuff. Not lattes though.
I
just don't like
hate
lattes.
most pumpkin spice stuff because I think it tastes horrible.
I love pumpkin
Eggnog
spice.
stuff, on the other hand.
I like eggnog stuff too. I love
I
eggnog
fucking
stuff
love
and
eggnog stuff.
I love eggnog and pumpkin spice. I'm the basic white bitch of a male version, I guess. I don't know.
I also like pepperminty stuff.
I don't as much. I don't mind it. I don't like it as much.
I like it. I'm weird. I like mints. I will eat Starlight mints straight up.
No, too much.
Oh, I love it.
Too much.
Love it. And after dinner mints.
But I do.
Or the,
but I love those Andes mints. I love Andes mints. Those things are great.
Andes mints are great. But the other ones that I really love are the Redbird mints.
Are those the ones that like they're really like look like they're really like kind of bigger and they kind of like but they're like full of air and they just kind of like melt in your mouth
Yes.
or whatever? I like those ones actually. Yeah.
the puffy mints that you just
I
stick in your
like
mouth and they
those
kind of
ones.
dissolve.
Yeah, I like those ones. Those ones
Those are
good.
so good. Shannon and I both like those over the Starlights. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm a big fan of the puffy melt in your mouth mints because I also love the dinner mints that are the multiple colors that are like that.
Oh, yep.
I will eat those like candy.
I have been known to do that as well.
Also a big fan of candy corn.
I also like candy corn. A lot of people hate it. A
lot of people hate it.
I hate candy corn. I love candy corn.
And licorice.
I love licorice, especially black licorice.
Oh, black licorice is so amazing. Like, there are a lot of people that hate black jelly beans. Give them to me. Give them to me.
I love them. Give them over.
Right here in my veins.
Give me it. Oh, yeah. That's why a lot of people hate Yag, too, because it tastes like black licorice, and I love it. It's great.
I'm not a big fan of Yag because it gets me too drunk. And then I don't remember what I did the previous night.
See, the reason why is because you like Yag too much. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
You don't hate it.
You know what's funny is my my adoptive sister from my adoptive family also likes Yag.
Okay.
In fact, she drank it so much in college they used to call her Hager Bomb.
Oh God.
Our last name is Haag, Haag.
Yep.
So Hager Bomb.
Yep. Of course.
She was also nicknamed Bubbles.
I don't want to know.
Powerpuff Girls.
I figured.
Powerpuff Girls. The blonde, so blonde, sweet,
Very cheerful. Yeah.
very cheerful, very sweet blonde until you piss
Can
her
be
off.
very violent. Yeah.
And can be very. That is very much my. Oh my god! So we used to make the joke that don't talk to my sister until after she's eaten breakfast and woken up. Morning, how you doing? Damn!
The growl of "I'm a murder you."
I'm going to
Whoa.
murder you. So she doesn't drink a lot of coffee, but the joke would be don't talk to her until after she's drank her coffee.
Yep.
She will murder you.
There are some people that just embody that to the T. To be fair, I'm not much of a morning person either. My mom tries to talk to me in the morning when I wake up, and 90% of the time it's the look of,
See, I didn't used to be a morning person per se, and
still
then
not.
I joined the army.
yeah, mom says that too. Mom, I think, was always a morning person, but I think she just became more of a morning person.
I was kind of a morning person, like I could do it, but like the army, you hit the ground, you go.
Yeah.
There's no. Like, I got to the point where I would wear my PT uniform for the following morning to bed so I could sleep in longer, and I would jump out of bed, throw my shoes on, shave in the bathroom real quick, and run out the door to PT. I'm awake, let's go.
The problem is I know there are so many people who have also done that.
Yes! I'm awake, let's go.
Yep.
And then you're just used to going until 8 or 9 o'clock at night when everything is done, 9, 10, 11 even, maybe even midnight, and you go to bed, and then you wake up at like 5 in the morning. Boom, let's go.
Yep. I get up at right now 8. I cannot get, like, I could get up earlier if I wanted to. It's still tough. Mornings are just terrible for me.
My biggest thing is, like, my wife will hug me when she goes to work, and she goes to work super early because she does a lot of open shifts and a lot of very early morning shifts. And once she kind of does that, 90% of the time, I'm half awake until I get out of bed. I never really get back to sleep. So
I typically have a hard time once, like, there's a certain point, like, if I do the same thing, if I've gone to bed recently, I can easily go back to sleep. But if, like, let's say I get up at like 5 or 6 in the morning to go to the bathroom, it's really tough to actually go back to fully being asleep for the next like hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is, before you wake up again, you know?
I have another one for you that's pretty funny. If you don't fully wake me up, I am capable of carrying on a half conversation with you while completely asleep.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Because apparently when I was in Iraq, we were doing convoys, and one of the guy who was in charge of the gun trucks was like, "Hey, Doc," because I had a PlayStation. I had a PlayStation Pocket, PSP.
Oh, gotcha.
I had a PSP that I carried with me all through Iraq. Loved the shit out of that thing, by the way. Everywhere we went, that way I could just hunker down and chill until somebody goes, "Doc, nah. Hey man, is this normal?" Fuck no. Here.
Leave me alone now.
There's some cream and here's some aspirin. Get the fuck out of my face.
Leave me alone now.
Here's some ibuprofen.
Some ibuprofen, leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Doc, look at my finger. Oh, Jesus, what the hell did you do? Come on, we gotta go to the hospital.
Where did you stick it that you weren't supposed to?
Usually into like an area trying to get something out of somewhere that they shouldn't have been trying to get. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is, about all of that, it's pretty funny. So apparently, he asked me if he could borrow my PSP. I was awake enough to say, apparently he says I said yes. I have no recollection of this happening, and I accused somebody of stealing it from me. And then he came in and diffused the whole situation. He's like, "No, you said I could borrow it." I was like, "Did I look at you and acknowledge you and call you Sergeant?" He goes, "Well, no." Then I wasn't awake. So apparently,
but I don't remember it.
Apparently, that's a thing I do.
Yeah, Mom does that sometimes. Like, if she's like kind of mostly asleep, like, you can kind of talk to her, and then she'll kind of forget. Like, she'll even look at you like you think she's awake, but she's not really all there yet. And she'll acknowledge you, but that's about it. So if you ask her something and you get like a that's not actually a yes.
That's not a yes. She doesn't remember saying it.
Nope, that's more of she acknowledges she's kind of awake and that you're a presence in the room.
Oh, Lord. Oh, we've gotten way off a sports topic, but who cares? We're having fun.
We did. Of course, we didn't really have much more sports topics to talk about.
We did, and that's why I kind of led us down a primrose path of stupid.
Yeah. In case anybody was wondering, like, there's just not much to talk about left.
Not much, because we don't. I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays are absolutely. So that is something I wanted to bring up because I brought it up to you. So another quick little sports thing because I think it's funny. Let me find the actual current stats.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Oh my god, because this is just dumb. To explain to you haves and have-nots currently. Alright. So, currently, the best team in baseball are still the Tampa Bay Rays. They are currently 34-14, and they are plus 124. They have scored 124 runs more than they have given up.
Which is just crazy.
By the way, every team in the AL East is over 500.
Fair.
The worst team in baseball currently are the Oakland Athletics, who are a whopping 10-38. They are minus 168. They have given up 168 more runs than they have scored.
Have they even scored any then? Because now I just need to know, have they even scored? Have they just not scored? Do they have a scoring problem?
They have scored 176 runs.
Okay, they have a pitching problem then.
They have given up 344 runs.
Oh, Jesus. They have a real bad pitching problem. Oh,
Well, for context,
that's a really bad.
Tampa Bay has scored 290 runs and given up 166.
Yeah, exactly.
They've only given up 10 more runs than the Athletics have scored.
Yeah, I think that's when you're starting to call up pitchers from anywhere else, because frankly, what you got is obviously not good. I feel bad whoever's pitching
There are
there,
only two teams that are anywhere. They're not even in the same vicinity.
Oh. Yeah, that's bad.
It's funny because the next worst run differential. Oh, wow. The next worst run differential is still under 100.
Jeez.
It's 71.
That's terrible.
And it's the Kansas City Royals, who are a whopping 14-34.
Ugh, that's not very good either. Though substantially better still. That's that's pretty bad. I feel like that there's a point where you just decide to blow it all up, and that might be the time of when you blow it all up.
Oh, by the way, for context, because this is funny, while the AL East has everybody over 500 and has positive run differentials for every team, the NL East has one team with a positive run differential, and everybody else is negative.
Of course.
The Atlanta Braves are 29-17 with a plus 63 run differential. They're followed by the New York Mets, who are 25-23 with a minus 14 run differential. The Miami Marlins, who are 24-23 with a minus 54 run differential. The Philadelphia Phillies, who are 22-24 with a minus 28 run differential. And the Washington Nationals, who are 20-27 with a minus 21 run differential.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. Baseball is weird.
Baseball's
Baseball's weird. I love baseball because baseball's weird. But yeah,
too weird.
the Athletics, man, you guys need a new team.
They just need to blow that shit up. Just blow it all up. Move
Blow it
the
all
team.
up.
Just change the name, new ownership, everything.
Oh
just,
my god, that's so bad.
I don't. What you don't come back from this. This is awful. Like I don't.
This is abysmal. This is what they were trying to do in Major League.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is like intentionally terrible. Like I don't see how you could build a roster that's actually worse on purpose.
I mean, I'm curious as to who they even have.
The thing is, from my understanding, they have to have a like. It can't be that bad, right? Like they legitimately have to have decent talent, don't they? I thought they had. I don't remember.
Well, let's look.
Doesn't the Athletics have that one kid that's supposed to be that one superstar or whatever, Sohei or whatever?
No, that's the Angels.
That's the Angels. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I can't think of anybody on the Athletics that I think about. They must be just like major leaguing it up or some shit. Like just a bunch of nobodies.
Starting center fielder Ruiz. He has he leads the team in batting average with a 286.
Yeah, okay.
Starting catcher Langoliers. He has a 217 average. Rooker is their left fielder. He has 11 home runs and 31 RBIs and a 284 average. It's not horrible.
That's not awful.
They've got a bunch of other people that are playing things. Kemp, Arnoda is their starting first baseman. He has a 221 average and 4 home runs. I don't think they've got anybody else on the roster. Yeah, the most home runs they have is 11, and that belongs to that kid, to the dude Rooker. But we were curious about their pitching. I want to see just how bad this is. All right, they have Sears. By the way, he is their leading ERA. Do you want to take a guess at what his ERA is?
It's not good.
Oh, it's definitely not good.
I don't know. Just tell me what it is.
4.99. He's given up 46 hits and 27 earned runs and 11 homers.
Oof.
To go with 51 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Their other starters, Waldachuk has a 6.85 ERA.
Ouch.
Muller has a 7.71 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
Caparellian has an 8.68 ERA.
Mm-hmm. This is just getting more painful as you keep going down the list.
Fujinami, 12.62. I didn't know ERA went that high.
God damn.
Now, they have...
They got a real pitching
Mike
issue.
Miller? No, Mason Miller. Mason Miller is listed as a starter. He's only started 4 games, though. So I don't know if they just brought him up or whatever. But he actually has a very respectable 3.38 ERA. That's respectable.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Compared to the rest of the team.
Yeah, I was going to say, comparatively, like, yeah.
Because your other starting pitcher, Martinez, has a 5.57 ERA.
Yeah,
they have a pitching problem. And a hitting problem.
They have an everything problem.
They have an everything problem.
To be, like I said, it feels like they are literally pulling a major league. They're just like, just tank the shit out of this. Fuck it.
Yeah, I feel bad for the fans in Oakland. I'm sorry you have to watch that. At least you got to watch... the Warriors for a little while.
True.
Yeah.
Did get to do that.
But yeah, I wanted to point that out, like the disparity, because I texted that to you earlier, and I thought the whole thing was just ridiculous, and I wanted to bring it up because I thought it was funny.
Not wrong.
Not wrong at all. All right, well, I think that's it for this week. I am getting a little tired. I've been up since like 5:30 in the morning, and I've been doing my job since about 8-ish, 8:30-ish, and I didn't get done until about 6 o'clock tonight. So,
Nice.
and I'll be doing that again tomorrow.
Nice.
So, bills to pay. And
Nice.
sadly, none of y'all are doing that for me. So, if you like what we do here, give us a like, give us a subscribe, share us with your friends. If you don't like it, fuck you. Do it anyway. We don't give a fuck about you. In the meantime, we'll tell you all. I'm going to tell you, I have no idea when the fuck I'm going to come out with the next trade dissection. Life is very hectic right now. But stay awesome. Stay bearded. Peace.